One of the fun things with Active Directory, with Windows servers in general, is that all Windows devices have a default administrator account. Now, on Windows clients, that account is now disabled. But on Windows servers, it is not. It is your first default all power in the universe account. So when we promote a server to domain controller, if we've logged in as administrator on the local machine, that administrator account becomes domain admin, schema admin, forest admin, and it's always named administrator. Now, you can't get rid of the administrator account. You probably don't want to. It's a good safety net. But one of the drawbacks to that is everybody in the world knows that all Windows systems have an administrator account. So it's a good one for them to try to attack. Well, you can address that by renaming the administrator account. Let me show you how. So I'm going to go, and I want to do this on everything, not just on my local machine, my local domain. I mean, I can do that manually, but I want to do this in group policy so it impacts all devices in my network. So I'm going to go to Tools and Group Policy Management. Now, if for this, I could do it using the default domain policy. I'm actually going to create, for the purpose of this demo, a different one. So I'm going to go to Group Policy Objects, and I'm going to create a new policy. I'm going to call this Rename Administrator. And that way, I'll know what it's for. I'll keep it light. It's got one purpose. It's easy for me to, it makes it much easier to troubleshoot, I think. If I've got multiple group policy objects that have a specific purpose rather than one or two that do a whole bunch of things, it makes it easier for me to troubleshoot. So I'm going to edit my Remove Administrator policy. And from my Remove Administrator policy, I'm going to go to Computer Configuration. Remember, this goes to where the computer or the user accounts are located, so that's going to be on the computer. So Computer Configuration, Policies, and Windows Settings, Security Settings, Local Policies, and let me blow this up and make it easier to read, Security Options. And I have a ton of security options policies. We've looked at these in a previous video as well. It's worth spending some time going through. You can drag that out, give yourself a little more text, a little more real estate for the name. Makes it easier sometimes to determine what you're looking at. So I want this one, renaming administrator account. Now, before I go into this, there is another possibility here, and that's to rename the guest account. The guest account typically is disabled by default, but if you want to, you can go ahead and rename it. So I'm going to say I want to rename the account, and I want to define this policy setting, and then whatever I put in here is going to be what I rename it to. So I'm going to rename administrator just to admin. Not creative, but it'll work for the demo. And apply and OK. And now that shows that that is set. Now, that does not change the password of the default administrator account. So I've been using default administrator all of this time, built my server, gave me a default administrator, installed ADDS, promoted it to domain controller. I still have a default administrator. Now what this is going to do is this is going to force that to rename to admin. So only thing I wanted to do, so I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to link this, and I can right click, and actually I need to do it here. Right click and link an existing GPO, rename administrator. Now at this point, you can see now we've got two things linked here. So every computer on the network is going to rename the administrator account to admin. Now, something we need to be aware of. This is under computer configuration. Computer policies are updated, I want to say every 15 minutes, maybe every 30 minutes, or when a machine reboots. It will automatically update. And when it hits that, if a computer has an administrator account, it will rename it to admin. All right, pretty straightforward. One thing you want to be aware of, though, is if you have somebody logged in as administrator, when that cycle hits, even if it's not a reboot, if it's just a mid-session update, it will rename the administrator account to admin. So if you're logged in as administrator, it won't log you out. It'll leave you with an active session, but an active session that is mismatched and can't authenticate correctly. So if that happens, just log out, log back in as a new user. Best practice, once you've done this, log out, log back in as admin, and you should be all set. Okay, there we go. We have used group policy to rename our administrator account so that not everybody in the world now knows how to attack our system.